What's good, people? Uncle Hotep back at it again. How y'all doing? Happy Sunday. As you can see, New York Times Interactive. Caleb Kane was a college dropout looking for direction. He turned to YouTube. Now, I guess these are videos from, his recommendations. He, like the story is, he was alt-rightish, right? He radicalized himself on YouTube. He was listening to Gavin and Milo and Molyneux. And he radicalized himself. Y'all can go and watch this. Read this. I'm disappointed he didn't watch any of me. I guess I'm not radical enough. Let's take a look here. You got the interview guy. You got Gavin. You got Alex. PJ. One of the guys, this guy over in the corner here, he doesn't even, I don't think he even does political content. Laura Southern, the whole gang, who's who. Not that I watch any of the, to be honest. I really haven't watched. I've seen a couple of Ruben interviews. I was on Gavin's show, but I didn't watch any of his content. This isn't part of the YouTube I go to, but in this story, as soon he was pulled into the far right universe, watching thousands of video filled with conspiracy theories, misogyny, and racism. Jesus. I was brainwashed. I guess he says he fell, like he says, I fell down the alt-right rabbit hole. Now he swore off. Now he says he swore off. He recently swore off nearly 5 years after discovering it and has become a vocal critic of the movement. You would have to, I would wonder, was that his plan all along? You got to be, these jokers are smart. You would have to think, because listen, this is how woke, well, I guess if you're on my channel, you're down one of these rabbit holes. But this is how woke you have to be. If you are planning to add migration to various countries, right? You would have to think there's going to be a backlash eventually. And the one of the, it's an age-old saying, if you want to lead a fighter, you lead it. You lead the resistance. Is this the case of Caleb, Mr. Kane? He was planning the turncoat all along. He just wanted to get as much info and everything else. And then turncoat, and then he gonna snitch on everybody. You gotta think it. You gotta think that. Now this this article is interesting, and then basically saying, that they're losing the battle. They lost the battle on the internet. And this is why you have these clashes on philosophies, the alt-right and against migration and stuff like that. And I guess the people in America weren't ever supposed to rise up and be angry about all the immigration and stuff like that. But they're trying to squash it. They even got there's another group. I guess I never seen any of these people. Like they even broke down the right wing content he was watching, and now he's changed up. Now he's watching more left wing channels. He was on poll, the lawless message board, lawless. It's hilarious. He watched a self-help video by Molyneux and looked like he was off and running. A 48-hour snapshot of what he watched in 2015. 1, 2. Wait. From 8:25. Dog, what the? Like, dog, get off the internet, bro. You see that? I think he got the girl, Syrian girl up there. What is a conservative? Is that they don't have a link to the video? She's actually pretty good, But you see why they put her up there. She's against the Syrian war, but we all know how that goes since this is the New York Times. But yeah, man, dude, you gotta I don't see what was the truth about rape culture. Truth about ISIS with Syrian girl. It talks about the AI. And it talks about the recommendations. So, the big fight is, with the recommendations, people, like, you watch one video, you might be tempted to watch a few others. Now they switched it all up. I don't, y'all know my view count has gone down considerably. It is what it is. I'm still going to crank out videos. Monetary thing wasn't the primary reason. It was a reason, but it wasn't the primary reason I do this. So it's like whatever. But now they even setting up like this section right here, man. So now he started watching left wing stuff and the aesthetics of the right wing YouTube down to they mimicked. There was a group that bit all the right wing guys and trying to copy some of their success. Enjoyment of Beethoven or white babies or whatever you get off to is no way impeded by the proximity of people with different skin colors. See, that's another thing that's a fatal flaw I thought everyone had with their fight against immigration. Like, I know the media is going to plate it up, but some of y'all some of the people on the right played it up. We're getting out the replace this thing. Like, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what your skin color is. They're replacing workers, people. They just need people in those seats. No matter, you might think they care about you, but on the I'm not going to say that. But if you look at government history and taxing history, I think they'll sacrifice you just like they'll sacrifice anyone else. But I thought the play was always to make importing more workers is just going to dilute the workforce and make the workforce less money. Like, you're going to get paid. We're going to get paid less because you're importing cheaper labor. That's all it should have been about. And of course, the weight of more people being put on the infrastructure, such as, because they have babies. They come over and they have babies. They're not like everyone else, They can get on assistance that pays for the majority of their daycare. They have kids. They don't make. They know what I'm saying? I don't know. But this group, like this person, Natalie Wynn, a former academic philosopher, goes by the name of ContraPoints. And I looked at ContraPoints. I think they do more theatrics. I think this person does a bunch of theatrics. Look, beauty, gender critical, the darkness. These are, I'm just reading off the names. Are traps gay? The apocalypse, pronouns, the aesthetic, incels, West, Jordan Peterson. Goes about capitalism, degeneracy, all this. What is gender? I am genderqueer. What does that mean? This is what. Now, this person has like 600,000 followers. First video was 3 years ago. Now they're being showcased in the New York Times. One could say they were probably put there, probably you know what I mean, promoted. Now it says here they're part of a new group of YouTubers who are trying to build a counterweight to YouTube's far right flank. This group called itself BreadTube, a reference to the left-wing anarchist Peter Kropotkin's 1892 book, The Conquest of Bread. It also includes people like Oliver Thorne, a British philosopher who hosts the channel Philosophy Tube, where he posts videos about topics like transphobia, racism, and Marxist economies. Now they're saying they're algorithm jacking by talking about many of the same topics that far-right creators do, and in some cases by responding directly to their videos. And that's been going back and forth for a while. I'm not sure they were the ones that created it. I think, to be honest, the right wing created that because this was before. Because this one MTV was like putting them dumb videos out there by that one lady, and people were killing her, man. it was almost an industry of people waiting until she released. Well, I've even done a couple of them because it was just outrageous, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about, but I bet you any amount of money that the redacteds are behind, this BreadTube group, these group of YouTubers. You know what I mean? Because they have to fight it a different way. This is a long fought battle. This is a long fought war. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to build a narrative that will stand strong against the alt-right narrative. It's just a battle of narratives. I mean, the right has their work cut out for them. And this is another example of that. This is just another... somebody's boomer parents are going to read this and they're going to look at their kids' YouTube history, and they might take away their YouTube and stuff like that, or they're going to nudge them away from listening to Molyneux and stuff like that. It's that simple, and the thing is, just look at this guy's content. Let's just look at it. This is nothing. Like, there's no current events. Like, there's no what happened here. Let's talk about it. Nothing that. Nothing. None of that. Like, on the right, you see that a lot more. We'll talk about what happened. Actual news. But you see these jokers in BreadTube. You know, it's all about yourself. It's all about pronouns, your gender, what your sexuality is. It's about a self-interest stuff. That's all about you. It's not about news, who's getting bombed there. It's, you know, it just isn't. And that's another reason why the mainstream media is trying to get the alt-right people out of there, because, you know, we cover the news a lot more than the leftists. You know, they don't cover the news. Like who? The Young Turks? Now, there are people on the left. I think Church Dog is pretty liberal on the left. But they do him the same like they do everybody else. That really keeps it real. Anyway, can YouTube radicalize people? Yeah. Because, I mean, this is what they're doing. You know, the left, it's just they're mad that the right had got great at it. And why they kind of dropped the ball on it. You know, maybe it's not they dropped the ball. It's like some people weren't ever going to, like some people aren't going to fall for the like this person's channel right here. No, but like a lot of people aren't going to fall for the pronouns and everything else and disagree what you're saying because, oh, it makes me feel better. Like some people are going to be like, nah. So they were just waiting for something to fill that void. They're not going to take to what you're saying because there's going to be a group of people that just are never going to fall for, you know, there's more than two genders and things of that nature. So some of them went under the alt-right umbrella on YouTube. And this is what they're trying to stop. You know, I can't, what I don't understand is, you know, I mean, this is the news. This is why it's fake news. This is fake media. Like they shouldn't, like who wrote this? Kevin Roos. What people watch on YouTube is and the narratives that we should let society figure that out, right? What you guys are trying to dictate what people are watching because you don't like the politics of the right and because it interferes with your migration patterns and you know big business needs cheap labor and things of that nature. I just want to see what the comments were on this. In the article, substitute video with book and YouTube with library. Is this a different perspective? Have we been here before or is this something completely new? First, this article is emblematic of such discourse today. Under the cover of journalism, you treat a set of ideas or a political stance as the object or phenomenon to be explained, not as something you have to engage or argue with based on reason and dialogue. Here, New York Times pathologized a set of perfectly legitimate views by lumping them together with racist and sexist cranks. The right is a social pathology to be interpreted, diagnosed, and cured. A kind of therapy that requires leftist critique. Second, we're becoming a hyper-hermeneutic, I don't even know what that word means, society, placing far too much value with an authority on what essentially are subjective interpretations. Imagine if each person was attributed an ideology based on how a media critic interpreted the totality of their media consumption. This is the equivalent of reading entrails or tea leaves by masquerading as social science and journalism. Third, it makes sense that New York Times would want to delegitimize these sort of outlets as educated people rejecting its journalistic authority means less market share and less political influence. But for more and more of us, New York Times and other media giants are not a source of reliable news. New York Times is now just a catalog for the ultra-rich. Imagine Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop magazine selling ideology to the Brooklyn set. Indeed. Indeed. I mean, there's nothing more to be said. There's nothing more to be said. You know, nobody's debating the issues. What we have here is how to stop the right and how to prevent more Caleb Cains from happening. Let's debate the migration issue. You don't want to debate that because you know they will lose. That's what I'm saying. I try to tell people, man, they're not going to give you no quarter. Some things you just like, hey, man, I'm not rapping with you about this because you're just not going to change your mind. But this shows you how the depths and how they're not playing any games. You know, they're in this to keep. Plan accordingly. Anyway, this is Uncle Hotep. Please listen to Hotep's Been Told You. This week it's on my channel, episode 50. You can also listen to SoundCloud link if you want the audio. Please donate. PayPal, Patreon, Store Envy. We got some shirts. We got a Clown World shirt. Look in the description for the Clown World shirt. It's awesome. Go get it. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.